What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video here today for F1 2019 career mode. Here today for episode number 16, I think this is, for the Singapore Grand Prix. Upgrade wise, both of the upgrades have gone on the car. I think we had a drag reduction upgrade and a chassis upgrade of some description, so they've both gone on the car, so hopefully they can help us out. And yeah, without further ado, let's just go get this show on the road and let's get into it.
A very warm welcome to all of you joining us here in Singapore as the clock ticks down towards the green light. I'm here with Anthony Davidson once again. Nice to see you, Ant, and I wanted to ask you about how you go about improving the car over the course of a practice session. How much would you say is already known from the pre-race simulations, and how much do you have to do, how much do you have to work on with a real car on a real circuit?
Well, that's a good question, Crofty, and I suppose the simple answer is that there's no such thing as too much information. As you say, the bigger teams have very complex simulations, vast numbers of clever people crunching the numbers back at base, but what they can't tell you is stuff like how the track condition's going to be, or what the temperature's going to be doing over the course of the day, and how all of that's going to be interacting with the tyre. There are so many millions of tiny variables involved in getting these cars around a racetrack quickly, but the computer can't tailor the car to a driver's specific balance requirements. At some point, you still need to put a human being in there and have them feel it through the seat of their pants. And that's why we end up with different drivers having different setups. So what I'm trying to say is, Crofty, nothing beats on-track testing.
How true, Anthony Davidson. Welcome, guys, to practice for the Singapore Grand Prix. Coming into this round, I was fairly confident of a good result. Singapore, if I'm brutally honest, it isn't one of my favourite tracks, but it's a track which I always do seem to have reasonable pace around. Probably not front-running pace. I definitely don't think we'll be winning this race, not going to lie. I don't think we've got the pace to do that. Practice, it went okay. We had to have a couple of cracks at the qualifying pace and race strategy practice programs. I think a couple of mistakes along the way, like the one you saw just a moment ago. We just completely missed our braking point, locked the rears, and yeah, straight into the wall. Easy enough to do around here, mind you. Obviously, a street circuit. It's so easy just to nick the wall, knock a bit of your front wing off, and just like that, you could be, half a second to a second a lap slower, and your race could be out the window, basically before it's even started. So hopefully we can avoid any little dramas during qualifying in the race. But practice, as I said, it went fairly well. Perez up in P7. Unfortunately, we were dead last, but I wasn't reading too much into that, not going to lie. But we went on to practice 2 now, under the lights, and honestly, when I actually first come out, I was really just amazed at how good this looks. I mean, how good does this look under the lights around here? It just keeps getting better year on year, to be honest. It just looks really, really nice. I really like it. And yeah, I think we had a stab at qualifying and race strategy practice program in practice 2. We got through both of those 2, thankfully, pretty easily. So that was practice. Let's go and talk to Claire, shall we? Because I think she has some questions for us. Again.
Great work out there today. Let's have your thoughts. You spent a lot of time on the track during practice. Does the car have enough reliability to sustain that?
Yeah, I think so. We've got good reliability in the car now after a few upgrades, and things should be good.
You left a lot of paint on the walls today. Were you struggling for grip, or did you just misjudge some corners?
Just a brain fade on my end. Just a couple of mistakes, but no harm done. We're all good.
Appreciate your time.
Right, thank you very much, Claire. Pain in the ass as always, but yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that was practice, guys. Went fairly well. A few mistakes, obviously, along the way. Clobbered some walls, lost some front wing, but hey, that's why it's practice, right? Yeah, you gotta learn the limits, you push the limits, and sometimes you overstep, which is exactly what we did. Not gonna lie, the upgrades felt quite nice. You can definitely feel the difference. dry qualifying and race as well, thankfully, so we don't have to worry about any wet weather. So yeah, let's go get into qualifying. Hopefully we can get into Q3 and park this thing somewhere near the front, and so can Sergio. So let's go and see what we can do.
Welcome along again to the Marina base circuit. The atmosphere is thick, not just with humidity, but with tension as well, as we get ready for qualifying here at the Singapore Grand Prix. I want to talk briefly about the strategy in these qualifying sessions. Anthony Davidson, how can a driver adjust their approach to gain those critical extra tenths of a second?
Well, qualifying isn't about adjusting your approach necessarily, it's more about trying to repeat a low fuel run that you've practiced prior to this session. You're looking for perfection on the lap, and that's hard to achieve if you're trying something new. There are some variables that can stand in your way, however. Track position or unexpected yellow flags, for example. Coupled with ever-changing track conditions, it's important to be out there at the right moment. But as a driver, you have to try and ignore these distractions and just keep your mind focused on that one perfect lap.
Alright, welcome guys to qualifying for round 15, the Singapore Grand Prix. Definitely confident we can get into Q3, so I think we're just going to do one run here in Q1. We're going to go out, I think, with about 10 minutes to go or something. And yes, here we are now. If my memory serves me correctly, this definitely wasn't a great lap. There was a few mistakes. We tapped the wall once or twice. Luckily we didn't get damage across the line. Provisionally we only go P9, which isn't great, but I decided to bank on it, and luckily it was just enough. Perez up in P3, but we're down in P14, so we've definitely got some work to do to try and catch our teammate. This just seems to be a common trait among the Racing Point duo. Just we can match Perez and beat him in the race, but his pace in qualifying is just mental. It's a joke, damn near. But we're both into Q2, so far so good. Obviously, the main aim is to get 2 cars in the top 10. Definitely think that's possible, so we're going to fast forward, as you can see now. Basically, right to the end of the session, we left it to the very last minute to set a lap. I think we were the last car across the line, basically. There might have been 1 or 2 behind us. This lap has been a pretty good one, a lot better than the one in Q1, but this is enough to get us into Q3. I think that was P9. Wait for the graphic to show up. Yes, it is, P9, so we are in to the final part of qualifying for the Singapore Grand Prix. Perez is, where is he? He's in P6, so we've got 2 cars in, effectively, I guess you could say, the top 10 shootout almost, because I think that's really what this is going to be. Everyone's probably just going to maybe go out for 1 run and try and put in a blistering run. But we go out right at the start of the session, and it's actually raining here at Singapore at the moment. I was not expecting this. There was no forecast for even a light drizzle of rain, but we've come out. Darius is disabled now, as you can see, and it looks like we're going to be on intermediate tyres, which is very, very unusual. That I don't know, you can correct me if I'm wrong in the comments section, but when we had a quick glimpse of the little weather icons when we were back in the transporter, I never saw any logo for rain, so this is very odd. We're going to go for a lap anyway right at the start of the session, because I didn't know if maybe this was the way to go, or whether you'd just come in for inters. I thought, since I'm already out here, let's just go YOLO, and let's just try this anyway. Immediately, even by the time I got to here, I definitely knew it was a big mistake. The car had absolutely no grip. It was like driving on ice. It felt absolutely horrible. You can see here, we just make the apex now. Trying to get the power down is an absolute nightmare. Having to brake so early, miss the apex there. And this has just been probably not the smartest move I've ever done. Probably should have come in and just waited for a set of wets, if anything. Our teammate Perez goes to the top on a 52.2, and that was actually set on the soft compound tyres. So there could be something in this lap still, so I'm still going to keep pushing on here to see what we can drag out of it. Verstappen now down into the 51s, but crucially, he's on a set of intermediate tyres. You can see the little green tyre icon next to his name up there in the top left. It's a little bit hard to see, but I can just make that out, even though I am half blind and deaf half the time. But anyway, I think we are actually gonna probably abort this lap and come in. I'm still pressing on at the moment, mainly just because I saw what Sergio did, and I knew I'm basically only half a track behind him, so I felt like there might have been something in this lap, but we've overcooked it and we're in the wall. So that was unfortunate. So whether that run was going to really count for anything, it definitely doesn't now. And yeah, we're going to come back in the pits, probably wait right till the end of the session, chuck a set of inters on, and then probably just go for broke on a one-shot type qualifying lap. And hopefully we can get up near the front somewhere. Cutting to the end of the session now. Hamilton just goes provisional pole on the intermediate tyres in the Mercedes. We are coming around the final couple of corners now. This lap has been pretty good. Max Verstappen goes provisional pole position. But where are we going to end up here in Q3?
Good work.
Alright, P6, there we go. Third row of the grid. I'm pretty happy with that, not going to lie. I don't feel like there was much more in that lap. But there must have been, because Sergio Perez, out of nowhere, takes pole position for the Singapore Grand Prix. The Mexican has pulled an absolute magic trick here in these tricky conditions and has got himself a pole position. I don't know how on earth he has managed that. Where on earth did he find the time? I'm not even going to bother asking because, oh my god, I still can't believe he did that. So it's our teammate Sergio Perez, the Mexican, on pole position for the Singapore Grand Prix. We start P6, so 2 cars in the top 6. I think that's a qualifying session that the whole team can be happy with.
All right, I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
Agreed, Jeff, agreed. I think we're both in a very solid position to score a double points finish for the team. Double podium. I mean, that's probably a bit of wishful thinking, isn't it? But anyway. But yeah, that's everything, I think. So let's go get into this race, shall we?
As the sun sets over the South China Sea, the sport that never sleeps is alert and raring to go. Welcome, under the bright lights of the Marina Bay circuit, to another Singapore Grand Prix. It's a very long, very physical lap, this one, and really there's not much in the way of margin for error. So we have a bit of an endurance race for you tonight. It's a 3.1 mile lap here at the Marina Bay Street Circuit with 47% taken at full throttle. It's hot, humid and bumpy around the 13 lefts and the 10 rights of mostly slow corners. But we should see speeds of up to 200 miles per hour along the Raffles Boulevard. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. It's Sergio Perez on pole position today, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Bottas, Sebastian Vettel, Lee, Leclerc, Raikkonen, Weber and Lando Norris, Ricciardo, Butler, Alexander Albon and Kvyat, Magnussen, Russell, Pierre Gasly and Roman Grosjean. Kubica and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Alright, welcome guys to the grid of the Singapore Grand Prix. Strategy looks like it's going to be 2-stop softs to 2 sets of mediums. No rain set for the race, but that weather forecast can lie, light in qualifying, but anyway, looks like we're here for the start already. 5 red lights, and away, not quite yet, yeah, there we go, away we go. Kind of jumped up on me a little bit there, I wasn't prepared, but anyway, down into turn 1, nearly 3 wide in front of us, Hamilton, Verstappen and Bottas. We nearly run into the back of the Mercedes driver, Charles Leclerc on our outside now. We get ahead of the Monegasque driver, that's in P6, which is where we started, so we haven't lost any ground, we haven't gained any either. That's a warning for exceeding track limits already. I cannot believe I just did that. In the slipstream of the Mercedes, are we going to try and make it move for P5? Down the back straight, do we think about sending it? No. Too risky at this early stage. Perez already checked out in P1, he's got a sizable advantage up the inside of Bottas into that right-hander. So close between the two of us, so close to making contact. Bottas maintains P5 for now. We're right under the rear wing of the Mercedes. Are we going to try and get the move done into this next corner? We try to go around the outside. There's a little bit of contact, I think, but I think we're just going to get this done. And we do. That's up into P5. Job done. Next up is Max Verstappen, Lewis Hamilton and Sebastian Vettel going at it for P2. Verstappen looking for an avenue, but there isn't one, unfortunately. So we're going to try and take advantage of this. But coming on to lap 3, there was nothing doing, and they started to pull away. So I decided, you know what, let's try something a little bit different. Let's try and undercut these guys by 2 or 3 laps and see if we can maybe jump these guys and get up behind our teammate and back our teammate up a little bit for potentially a double podium for Racing Point, because with the pace Perez has got, it's looking very, very likely. So it was wishful thinking, I'm not going to lie, but it could turn into reality. Perez definitely seems to be the quickest car on track at the moment. And if we can make this undercut work as we cross the pit exit line there, a little bit cheeky from us, but anyway, we could definitely be on for a really solid double points result here. So we've still got a long way to go. We've got to get the head down now, try and make the most of this clean air. Cutting on to lap 5, purple in the middle and final sector, so we're definitely catching everybody at a rapid rate of knots. And Perez is out of the session. What has happened to our teammate? We cut on just a few moments later and you can see him parked up. Reliability fails the Mexican again when he was potentially on for a race victory, and it has been snatched away by the Mercedes engine, giving up on Perez. Oh man, that's so unfortunate. I really think there was a chance for a double podium for us there, but anyway, cutting up to lap 7, up to P17 now. We've caught up to the back of a fairly big train. First up, Lance Stroll, the man we replaced at Racing Point. Excuse me, we're going to try to go around the outside now. Brake really late, he keeps the nose in there, but we're getting the move done. That's up into P16. Next up, the 2 Williams, Kubica and Russell going at it. Both on the hard tires. This is probably a little bit personal here as well in a way. We're going to try and look for an avenue. We get past Kubica. Now we're going to try and make the move on Russell. He squeezes us towards the wall a little bit, but we're not taking no for an answer. Up the inside. There we go. Job done. We've cleared those 3 guys. That's up to P14. We got a little bit more clean air now to work with until we get to the next car a little bit further up the road, which is the Haas of Romain Grosjean. So we can breathe a little bit now. We got a little bit of fresh air. And yeah, cutting on to lap 8, or the end of lap 8 I should say. We've finally caught up to Romain Grosjean. A couple of the front runners on softs in the pits. That's Gasly in the pits as well. Bottas is in the pits. Leclerc's in the pits. We're going up the inside of Grosjean into turn 1. Get the move done. And now we're up into P7. So we're really making some solid moves and making some pretty good progress at the early stage of this race. This strategy is really paid off. We're actually quite a way ahead of Bottas and Leclerc, and they were right behind us at the start of lap 3 and when we come in, so we're looking good to definitely gain a lot of time onto the start of lap 10. Now Danny Kvyat is the car that we're trying to overtake. Around the outside in turn 1, that's risky. Run off the road a little bit. Around the outside, no contact made. Job done. That's up into P6. Next up is our fellow Aussie, the Honey Badger, Daniel Ricciardo. Hopefully Danny Rick don't hold us up too much and we can get on with our race. We're going to try and look for a move, are we? We sneak to the inside and we fire it up the inside under the Renault. Get the move done in a very unorthodox place as well, but we're getting the move done anyway. There was no contact made. Straight up into P5, job done. Now we've got a lot of fresh air to play with until we catch Kevin Magnussen in the Haas. And cutting on to the end of lap 12, lap 13, we have done exactly that. Hamilton is the next car behind us as well, so we kind of need to get a move on here. Up the inside of Magnussen, into turn 1. That's up into P2, as I think some more of the AI come in there who were potentially on a 1-stop. We're going to cut on to lap 18 now, and I think we're going to come in at the end of this lap. Albon pitted on lap 15 or something, I think, which gave us the lead. So we are effectively, legitimately leading the Singapore Grand Prix with about 13 laps to go. We're going to come in here. I think everyone else is going to stay. We actually clipped the inside wall there a little bit. No damage, thankfully. Hamilton stays out. I think that's Vettel behind him. He stayed out as well. So I think we're the only one who's come in this early. 13 laps to the end on the medium tyres. They should easily go that far, you would think. I think the first stint that we did was about 15 laps or something, or 14, so we should definitely be able to do 13 laps to the end. I'm hoping that undercutting these guys, so to speak, is going to help me get a little bit of a gap to them, and then hopefully I might just be able to manage that. But we've come out in a bit of traffic. There is Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari, Lando Norris in the Alfa Romeo. That still feels really weird to say, by the way. So we've come out in a bit of traffic here, which is kind of not what we wanted. This could actually hamper our strategy and potentially lose us the lead. So we need to get past Lando Norris here, quick, sharp. We can't afford to be held up. We're on new tyres, so we've got to use these to our advantage. Do we dive up the inside? No. Norris defends. We've got to get this done. He's on the hard tyres as well. And with the newer tyres, we just out-traction him. He's still there on the inside. Bit of contact made between the pair of us, but we both get away unharmed. Cutting to the back end of the lap now. We're going to go up the inside of George Russell. That's very, very optimistic. That is a place where you do not see cars overtake. Russell, he tried to squeeze us, but he just left us enough room, saw that we were committed, left us space, and we got the job done. Getting on to the start of lap 20, there's Hamilton, Vettel coming out of the pits, and we have just maintained the lead. There is Max Verstappen ahead. So this is the race. Basically about 10.5 laps to go, and this is the scrap for the win of the Singapore Grand Prix. Up the inside of Verstappen again at that same corner where you really don't make the moves, but we have been making them today, and that is back up into the lead of the Singapore Grand Prix. Verstappen peeled in a couple of laps afterwards, I think. This is really getting tense now. A little mistake on the lap 26. That's going to allow Hamilton to try and have a look at us to take the lead round the outside in the right hand. We try and squeeze him wide. He's not having a bar of it. Up the inside in the left hander, he squeezes us towards the wall, running side by side with the Mercedes driver. I don't want to give this up. I want to win this race. We fire back up the inside of Hamilton again. That's another overtake in that left hander where we don't normally make him. It's a very, very tense end to the race, I beg your pardon. Hamilton is all over us, just looking for an avenue, praying for a mistake. Coming on to lap 28 now. He's right under our rear wing. He sends it up the inside with DRS. Is he going to get it done? We get better traction on the outside. We should just be able to keep this position. We squeeze him out, and we do. Oh boy, what a stressful last couple of minutes this has been, trying to fend off Hamilton, cutting off to the final lap of the race now. We're still in the lead of the race, but we've run wide coming through the tunnel. That's going to affect our run onto this little mini straight. No DRS, thankfully for us, like there is in real life. So that kind of saves us a little bit there. And I think from now we should be right. All we've got to do is negotiate this final sector, and we should be right to come away with a miracle win, not going to lie. I definitely didn't think at the start of the weekend we had the pace to do this. Perez, however, put the car on pole, showed the potential of this Racing Point car around the Singapore Grand Prix track under the lights, and from P6 on the grid, we're going to come around the final corner now. How the hell have we done this? I don't know, but we're going to win the Singapore Grand Prix. Yes, boys!
That's a race win and your second race win in a row. Fantastic job.
And an incredible win for Racing Point. A brilliant performance. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, they certainly stood out as a driver with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Racing Point's performance today has shown that they can be competitive with the veterans of the sport. They're making their way out to the podium now as we speak, and the reaction from the crowd must be incredibly uplifting for them.
So there we go, guys. That has been the Singapore Grand Prix. Oh my god. How on earth have we managed that? That is our second race win in a row. Our engineer said everything over the radio, and man, I actually forgot about that, but he is right. That is our second race win in a row. 2 on the trot for us now. 3rd in the Drivers' Championship. And man, oh man, what a race. What an episode. I couldn't be happier. Unreal.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. You were cutting your way through the field during the race.
Yeah, we sure were. The car just seemed to work really well. New tyres felt very nice, and we hooked it all together.
Judging from today's race, it must be pretty hard to fend off Devon when he wants to pass.
Yeah, he's an aggressive person, not gonna lie, but we did what we needed to.
Do you think you were lucky not to end your race with that crash?
Once again, absolutely pointless question because there wasn't one, so I don't know. What's she smoking? Honestly, I'm confused. I really am.
Appreciate your time.
Right, thank you very much, Claire. Maybe you might want to actually go back and watch the actual race and see what happened next time. But yeah, there we go, guys. That has been today's video, the Singapore Grand Prix. Absolutely unbelievable scenes. That's 2 wins on the trot for us now. We're really starting to build some momentum in the back end of this season, and I definitely feel like we can be a front-running team next season, and we're looking good. We're making solid progress, and things are looking very nice.
Just wanted to say congrats on the podium. It's thoroughly deserved. We were sweating those last few laps on the pit wall, but you brought it home.
Alright, so there we go. That has been today's video, guys. Career mode for the Singapore Grand Prix. Round 15, episode 16. Sorry the numbers still don't correspond with each other. I will fix that in a future episode, either with a double upload or if something goes wrong with some recording or something, then we can probably make that work in one way or another. But we'll I'll have that sorted soon, and the episode and round numbers will correspond, and we won't be confused as to whether we're at Japan or Australia or yeah, anywhere else. But anyway, upgrade wise, what are we thinking of doing here? I actually recorded this a little while ago, so I'm not 100% familiar with everything that I did. I think we might go for a weight redistribution upgrade here, are we? I'm not too sure, to be brutally honest. And we're going to purchase a hydraulics upgrade, so there you go. There's that. But thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys enjoyed, remember to smash that like button, subscribe so you can stay tuned for plenty more. Hope you guys have enjoyed this amazing episode. And until my next video, I'll see you guys next time.